Afrojack has been talking shit about you. Anything you want to say? Who? Afrojack? Who? That's what I thought.
Hey, you sucker. What's up, me, you sucker?
Beyond being mentor and student, Eminem and 50 Cent ride like true brothers. They've stood shoulder to shoulder at award shows, in beefs, and everywhere in between. And when it comes to feuds, these two are cutthroat, some of the boldest, most disrespectful voices hip-hop has ever seen. From clashing with J. Rule to calling out former allies like The Game, 50 and M don't just fight, they live for the drama. Let's dive into Eminem and 50 Cent's battles with other rappers, starting with The Game. In August 2023, Easy, Mill, and Eminem dropped a blazing track called Realist. While it was Mill's big breakout, Eminem stole the spotlight, firing off a lyrical strike straight at The Game. This wasn't just flexing, it was M planting his flag, crowning himself the greatest, and daring anyone to challenge his throne. Eminem rapped, "All the envious rappers I torch if I'm on a joint with them, and that is the only retort is, I'm not played in the club. Motherfucker cork in it. Only reason they still play your. In the clubs, it's 'cause you still performing." M went straight for The Game's neck after The Game claimed his music wasn't played in clubs. As The Game laid out in his 10-minute diss track, Black Slim Shady, this feud traces back to his time with 50 Cent and G-Unit. It all started when Dr. Dre spotted The Game's raw talent and potential, deciding to bring him under his wing and slide him into G-Unit, the powerhouse crew led by 50 Cent. This wasn't just a casual move. It was a calculated push to supercharge The Game's career and give him the launchpad for his debut. The Game's addition to G-Unit had the streets divided. Some thought it was a genius power play to boost his name, while others claimed it looked like he was just riding 50's wave. Either way, being tied to 50 and Eminem instantly placed him in the orbit of hip-hop's biggest heavyweights. And when The Game finally dropped his debut album, The Documentary, the impact was undeniable. The critics praised it, the fans bought it up, and his place in rap was officially stamped. Tracks like How We Do and Hate It or Love It instantly cemented themselves as classics, proving The Game had bars and a gift for storytelling that fans couldn't ignore. But as the documentary soared up the charts, cracks began to show in his bond with 50 Cent, and the tension was about to spill over in a big way. During the shoot for the Hate It or Love It video, rumors spread that 50 flat out refused to sit next to The Game in the car, sparking whispers of a serious rift between them. Nobody knew the exact reason, but the message was clear. Something ugly was brewing.
I think, yeah, that's true. Those rumors are true, and I'm not gonna deny them.
So did you date him?
No. Can I just clarify that I did not have a physical relationship with him? I did not have an intimate relationship. I've been with less men than I can, than on one hand. So he's not one.
Even though the video dropped to critical praise, the real explosion came when 50 went on a radio interview and shocked the world by announcing The Game was no longer part of G-Unit. And just when things couldn't get hotter, The Game tried to storm the radio station building, pushing their feud to a boiling point. A wild scuffle broke out, and in the chaos, shots rang out. After the smoke cleared, both camps tried to downplay what happened, scrambling to cool things off. By March 2005, The Game and 50 Cent even announced a public truce, claiming they wanted to squash the beef and move forward. But that so-called peace didn't last long. The Game's exit from G-Unit sparked heavy criticism from the crew, who started questioning his loyalty and street credibility. That lit a fire under The Game, and he came back swinging with his savage diss track 300 Bars and Runnin', which set off a full-on storm of back-and-forth disses between him and 50. The feud spiraled into one of hip-hop's most heated lyrical wars, with fans split right down the middle, watching every diss like it was a heavyweight fight. Then in 2006, The Game shocked everyone by extending an olive branch, saying he wanted to patch things up with 50, but the damage had already been done. But 50 Cent stayed ice cold, refusing to say a word or entertain reconciliation. This feud hit levels never seen before. Over 100 diss tracks kept the fire blazing, making it one of the most relentless rap wars in history. In 2010, The Game even took to Twitter, publicly begging 50 to bury the hatchet and kill the animosity once and for all. Yet, his plea was ignored. 50 gave him nothing but silence. Still, the game kept chasing peace, but every move he made was met with pushback. By 2012, he even started a petition for a full G-Unit reunion, hoping to repair the bond and bring the crew back together. But G-Unit shut it down fast, making it clear they were moving forward without him. Then, in 2014, the group reunited at Summer Jam, without the game, proving once again he was left out in the cold. And just when fans thought the drama was dying down, 50 stirred things back up in 2022 by clowning the game for snapping a photo with Lloyd Banks, questioning what his real intentions were. The game eventually claimed the feud with 50 was done, saying publicly that he had no more issues with him. But just as that smoke started to clear, a brand new fire sparked, this time between the game and Eminem. The game came swinging with a diss track called The Black Slim Shady, where he didn't just go at M, he threw shots at 50 Cent, Dr. Dre, and even took aim at Eminem's family. The bars were brutal, attacking Eminem's personal life, career, and reputation, all clearly designed to provoke a reaction and spark a lyrical war.
The reason I wasn't on the Super Bowl is because I'm not a safe artist. So it's just like, he not safe, so they went with the safe.
When The Black Slim Shady dropped, the rap world went into chaos. Some fans praised the game's fearlessness and sharp wordplay, while others couldn't believe he had the guts to go after one of the greatest rappers alive. Others, though, slammed the track, calling it nothing more than a desperate grab for attention. The diss lit up the hip-hop world, sparking endless debates and fiery arguments. Fans split into camps, some standing firm behind Eminem, others hyping up the game's boldness. Social media was on fire, with passionate defenses and non-stop clashes over who really came out on top. But the drama also raised big questions. Why did the game even go after Eminem in the first place? What pushed him to take aim at one of rap's most respected legends? A major clue could be the Super Bowl 56 halftime show on February 13, 2022, where Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, and Eminem rocked the stage. But the game was nowhere in sight. Despite his history with Dre and his role in shaping West Coast rap, being left out of that iconic lineup reportedly stung hard, fueling the resentment that later came spilling out in The Black Slim Shady. The game didn't hide his frustration. He hit social media hard, reposting stories that questioned why he was shut out of such a major celebration of LA hip-hop. In his eyes, as a true West Coast representative, he deserved a spot on that stage, right beside Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. On the I Am Athlete podcast, the game opened up even more, admitting the snub cut deep. He claimed the industry viewed him as not safe for a live performance, too raw, too unpredictable, too controversial. To him, that was a slap in the face, proof that his authenticity was being overlooked in favor of safer picks.
It's fat. He looked like he got a pack of hot dogs on the back of his neck.
By March 2022, he doubled down on Drink Champs with NORE and DJEFN, where he dropped explosive takes on both Eminem and Dr. Dre, sending shockwaves through the rap world once again. The game stirred the pot even harder when he claimed Kanye West had done more for his career in recent years than Dr. Dre ever did. And he didn't stop there. During that same Drink Champs interview, he boldly declared himself better than Eminem, saying he was ready to face him in a versus battle. He straight up challenged the idea that Eminem was untouchable and demanded a showdown to settle the score once and for all. The backlash on social media was instant, but the game didn't flinch. In an Instagram video posted shortly after, he doubled down, insisting he truly believed he was the superior rapper, no matter what anyone else thought. He even went so far as to suggest a rap battle or maybe even a collaboration as proof. So the big question still hangs in the air. Will this beef with Eminem and 50 Cent ever cool off, or is it destined to keep exploding? And just when you thought the drama couldn't get messier, another storm was brewing, this time involving Eminem, Mariah Carey, and Nick Cannon. At first, Mariah Carey brushed off the rumors, denying anything ever happened. But Eminem came swinging with his track Bagpipes from Baghdad on the Relapse album. In it, He not only revisited their alleged past, but also threw fiery shots at Nick Cannon, who was married to Mariah at the time. His bars were raw and direct, leaving zero room for doubt. He rapped, "Mariah, whatever happened to us? Why did we have to break up?" Before adding, "Nick Cannon better back the f*** up. I'm not playing. I want her back, you punk." And he didn't stop there. M kept it going with, "Nick, you had your fun. I've come to kick you in your sack of junk." Nick Cannon wasn't about to let that slide. He clapped back with a now-deleted Tumblr post, threatening to sue Eminem and writing, "I don't know why no one has stood up to you yet, but I guess it's going to take a corny, whack-rapping boy toy from Nickelodeon to set you straight. And trust, I'm going to be relentless. Even though I got a lot of other obligations and occupations, you are my new full-time job, homie." And just when it seemed the feud couldn't get any hotter, Mariah herself appeared to join the battle, dropping her hit, Obsessed, with a music video that fans instantly took as a direct shot at Eminem. Mariah took it even further in her Obsessed video, dressing up like Eminem himself, which only poured more gas on the fire. For a while, though, things seemed to cool off. Nearly a decade passed before the feud flared up again in September 2019, when Nick Cannon appeared on T.I.'s podcast, Expeditiously. On the show, Cannon recalled a moment when he and Eminem were flying back on a jet from Africa, and Eminem dropped a track dissing Mariah. Feeling protective, Cannon said he actually wrote a long letter to M, showing respect for him as an artist, but also calling him out for the disrespect toward his wife. Fans saw Cannon's approach as calm and mature, but Eminem, he took it as an invitation for war. Slim Shady fired back in music once again, this time on Fat Joe's track Lord Above. In his verse, Eminem rapped, "I know me and Mariah didn't end on a high note, but that other dude's whipped, he got him neutered. Tried to tell him this chick's a nut job before he got his jewels clipped, almost got my caboose kicked." And just like that, the feud was reignited in full force. "Fool, quit. You're not gonna do shit. I'd let her chop mine off too before I lose to you, Nick." That was Eminem's fiery shot, but Nick Cannon wasn't backing down. He hit Instagram writing, "Fat Joe's album is star-studded. He even did some charity work and dug Eminem out his grave. I mean, cave." Nick even threw down an invite for M to step onto his MTV show Wild 'N Out and face him head-on. Then Cannon dropped his own diss track, The Invitation, and he went for the jugular. He rapped, "Call Kim. Somebody get Haley and that other kid you raising that ain't even your baby. My baby mama killed you off a decade ago. You're still crying about it." The shots were personal, brutal, and left no doubt he was ready for war. Fans were instantly split. Some praised Cannon for standing tall, defending his wife, and refusing to fold under Eminem's attacks. Others dragged him for dragging the feud back from the dead, saying it was tired and time to finally move on. The media couldn't get enough of it. Tabloids and entertainment sites milked every twist, blasting out headlines with wild claims that kept fans glued to the drama. Every move was sensationalized, and the public devoured it, desperate for the next chapter in this messy war. Still, not everyone wanted to see the chaos drag on. Some fans begged for peace, hoping Eminem and Nick Cannon would finally bury the hatchet and put the focus back on the music instead of a feud that felt never-ending. But by then, the beef had taken on a life of its own, far bigger than either of them could control. Eminem and Cannon kept trading blows, whether through bars, interviews, or social media shots. Nick even went as far as sampling some of M's most controversial past work, trying to tarnish his legacy and keep the fire alive. And with 50 Cent always lurking around the feud, tossing in his own shade, it was clear this wasn't just rap beef anymore, it had become a full-blown saga. At least on the surface, things look calmer now. The fiery back and forth has slowed down, and both artists seem more focused on their own projects. But fans and industry insiders aren't convinced the storm has really passed. With so much history between them, many believe the tension is still bubbling under the surface, ready to erupt again at any moment. Every lyric, every social media post, every interview gets picked apart by fans hunting for hidden shots and subtle disses. People are watching closely, convinced that even the smallest move might signal the feud isn't truly over. And the speculation doesn't stop with the artists themselves. Some wonder if the beef is personal, fueled by grudges and bruised egos, or if it's all strategy, a way to keep both names in the headlines and their relevance locked in. Only time will tell what's really going on with this feud. Back in 2005, Nick Cannon and Mariah Carey first crossed paths at the Teen Choice Awards, and by 2008, they were married. So when Eminem's diss track started flying, their relationship was still fresh, making Nick's protective stance toward Mariah even stronger. But the marriage didn't last. After 8 years together, the couple divorced in 2016. Still, Nick has continued to defend Mariah over the years, and the two remain civil while co-parenting their twins, Moroccan and Monroe. As for 50 Cent, he got dragged into the mess too, this time because of a joke. On his podcast, Nick clowned 50's weight, saying he looked like he had a pack of hot dogs in the back of his neck and even flat out called him fat. At first, 50 brushed it off like it was nothing, but that calm didn't last long. 50 Cent finally clapped back at Nick on Instagram, posting a message about relying on God and saying success doesn't come from luck. But he didn't stop there. He slipped in a sharp warning aimed right at Nick, writing, "If your marketing campaign is say something about 50, you're not gonna make it. Have a nice day." And this wasn't even his first dig. Back in 2020 on The Breakfast Club, 50 spoke on Nick's feud with Eminem, making it clear that battle rap is M's comfort zone, and that Nick was way out of his league. They even brought up Cannon's track Used to Look Up to You, which 50 confirmed wasn't about Eminem, but about him. 50 didn't hold back, saying Nick's rapping skills were weak, and even branded him legendary corny from the beginning. The hosts agreed, openly questioning why Nick was so obsessed with battling, while 50 cut it blunt. "You suck, bro." 50 Cent even poked fun at Nick Cannon's personal life, joking in an interview that he couldn't understand why Nick has 12 kids. While reflecting on his own regrets about buying a massive house, 50 laughed that maybe Nick and his army of kids would have appreciated it more than he ever did. As for the feud between Eminem and Nick, it's still hanging in the air. Some wonder if they'll ever squash it and move on, while others believe it's just waiting for the right spark to explode all over again. Only time will reveal whether peace is possible or if this beef is destined to burn forever. And speaking of beef, let's rewind to the late 1990s when 50 Cent and Ja Rule's war first erupted. It all began in 1999 when Ja Rule was robbed at gunpoint while filming a music video. One of 50's affiliates allegedly snatched Ja's chain during the stick-up, and according to 50, when Ja ran into them later at a club, Ja threw him nothing but cold shade, but Ja Rule swears that moment never happened. Ja Rule admitted the robbery really happened, but he insists that wasn't the root of their beef. According to him, the real issue was 50 Cent feeling snubbed by Murder Inc. during the shoot for Ja's single Murder for Life. 50 wasn't about to let it slide, so he clapped back with the diss track Life's on the Line, aimed squarely at Ja and Murder Inc. That track was set to appear on 50's shelved debut album Power of the Dollar, an album that never officially dropped. Meanwhile, Ja Rule's own debut Veni Vedi Veci blew up, selling millions and cementing his spot in the game. The contrast only added more heat to the feud. Things got uglier in 2000 when both rappers were booked at the same Atlanta nightclub. What started as a night of music turned into a fiery argument that quickly turned physical. And the chaos didn't stop there. Later that same year, G-Unit ran into Murder Inc. at the legendary Hit Factory Studios in New York. Word is, Ja got tipped off that 50 was recording there, so he pulled up, ready for trouble. The clash exploded into violence when Murder Inc. rapper Black Child stabbed 50 Cent during the studio encounter. That bloody moment only cemented the hatred between the two camps, locking 50 and Ja Rule in as sworn enemies. From 1999 to 2002, the chaos laid the foundation for one of hip-hop's most infamous feuds. By 2002, 50 dropped his first major hit, Wanksta, a track widely believed to be aimed at Ja Rule. The song blew up, peaking at number 13 on the Billboard Hot 100, and instantly made 50 a household name. But instead of cooling things down, the success only poured gasoline on their rivalry. That same year, 50's credibility was questioned when Murder Inc.'s Irv Gotti accused him of filing an order of protection against Ja Rule and the crew. The claim threatened to stain his street image, but 50 quickly denied it. Later, it came out that the order was actually filed by the police on his behalf, not something he requested himself. From 2002 to 2003, the feud went nuclear, both rappers firing off diss tracks non-stop. 50 came at Ja with joints like I Smell, while Ja fired back with his own heat, keeping their war alive in the music and the streets. 50 Cent and G-Unit came swinging with diss tracks like Back Down and even a flip of Hail Mary, which mocked Ja Rule's alleged obsession with Tupac. Ja wasn't silent either. He clapped back with his own tracks like Loose Change and Guess Who Shot Ya, turning their feud into one of the most anticipated rap wars, with fans hanging on every release. Between 2007 and 2019, the beef kept bubbling. In 2007, J. Rule claimed 50 had copied his whole style, telling Angie Martinez on Hot 97 that after signing with Shady Records, 50 started sounding a lot like him, basically accusing him of lacking originality. Then in 2013, Ja shocked fans when he admitted in an interview that 50 had ultimately won their feud. But just when people thought things might finally cool down, fate threw them a twist. Ja Rule and 50 ended up on the same flight, sitting in the same row. Ja even tweeted about the wild coincidence, sparking rumors of peace between the two. But any hopes of a real truce didn't last, because not long after, the shots started flying again. By 2013, the beef was back in full swing. During his set at Hot 97's Summer Jam, 50 Cent couldn't resist mocking Ja Rule and Murder Inc. once again, performing his diss track I Smell, and reminding the world that their feud was far from over. Then in 2014, Ja turned up the heat with a bombshell claim in his memoir, Unruly, The Highs and Lows of Becoming a Man. He accused 50 of snitching, allegedly tipping off the feds with info that sparked a federal investigation into Murder Inc. 50 fired back in 2015, flat out denying the accusation. Even while other rap beefs grabbed headlines, like Drake versus Meek Mill, 50 and Ja couldn't resist chiming in on Twitter, both agreeing that their war was way more savage and personal. By 2017, J. Rule found himself in hot water again, this time over the infamous Fyre Festival disaster, the so-called luxury event that collapsed into chaos and scams, leaving fans stranded and furious. 50 Cent wasted no time clowning J. Rule after the Fyre Festival mess, dragging him all over social media and adding more fuel to their never-ending feud. By 2018, things exploded again online. Ja took shots at 50 on Twitter, sparking a bitter back and forth. 50 hit back the only way he knows how, through savage memes and relentless trolling that had fans laughing and cringing at the same time. That same year, 50 pulled one of his pettiest moves ever. He claimed he bought 200 front row tickets to one of Ja's Vegas shows just to make sure the seats stayed empty. To top it off, he photoshopped himself chilling in the vacant rows, turning the feud into pure comedy and humiliation. In 2019, Ja tried to flip the script, blasting 50 over his friendship with Tekashi 6ix9ine, who at the time was catching heat for cooperating with authorities. Ja Rule compared Tekashi to 50, labeling them both as rats. And while Eminem usually handles beefs directly in his music, his feud with Ja was different. This one sparked indirectly through his loyalty to 50. Still, Ja didn't hold back, taking aim at M in his diss track, Loose Change. Ja Rule crossed the line when he dragged Eminem's family into the beef, taking shots at his mom, Kim, and even his daughter, Haley. He rapped, "M, you claim your mother's a crackhead, and Kim is a known slut. So what's Haley gonna be when she grows up?" That bar lit a fire under Eminem, and he came back swinging with tracks like Haley's Revenge and a remix of Tupac's Hail Mary featuring 50 Cent and Busta Rhymes. The diss war spiraled, with Ja dropping Clapback and M answering with Go to Sleep. But by 2004, Eminem had enough. He dropped a track, declaring that his label had already won the war and that he was done wasting energy on the feud. To him, it had become pointless, childish, and not worth the profit. By the mid-2000s, Critics and fans were saying Ja was relying on 50 and Eminem just to stay in the conversation. And while Ja at one point hinted at ending the feud, he later doubled down, insisting that he and 50 would always be sworn enemies, cementing their beef as one of the longest, messiest battles in hip-hop history. In hip-hop, tension always finds a way to boil over, and that's exactly what went down between Eminem and Joe Budden. The roots of their feud stretch back to 2011, when Slaughterhouse, made up of Joe Budden, Royce da 5'9", Joel Ortiz, and Crooked Y, signed with Eminem's Shady Records. Fans were hyped, hoping the supergroup would finally get the recognition they deserved. But behind the scenes, things weren't so smooth. While working on their major label debut, Welcome to Our House, Eminem stepped in as executive producer, and his vision clashed with the group's raw underground style. Instead of the gritty lyrical approach fans loved, the sound shifted towards something more polished and commercial with big hooks. For Joe Budden, who had built a die-hard following through his independent grind and mixtape hustle, this change felt like a betrayal, and he wasn't about to bite his tongue. Joe Budden was convinced Slaughterhouse could have thrived as an indie powerhouse, dominating festivals and building a brand without having to bend to Eminem's formula for success. The creative clash became impossible to ignore, and Joe let his frustrations spill on his podcast, where he flat out said the group would have been bigger without M's involvement. In his eyes, Slaughterhouse was better than that, and better than him. But it wasn't just vision. Joe tore into the beats Eminem provided for their album, calling them horrible and completely wrong for the group's sound. He accused M and his manager Paul Rosenberg of mismanaging the brand, forcing Slaughterhouse into a box that ultimately led to their downfall. The tension only kept rising until Eminem lit the match with his 2018 album, Kamikaze. On it, he fired shots at several rappers, Joe Budden included. That set off a chain reaction, with Machine Gun Kelly dropping his infamous diss Rap Devil, and names like D12's Bizarre, and even Lil Yachty weighing in. But out of everyone, it was Joe Budden who cranked things up another level, turning the tension into a full-blown war. Joe Budden turned his podcast into a battleground, unloading a fiery rant at Eminem that cut deep, questioning his character, his business sense, his relevance, and even his skills as an artist. This wasn't just about music. It was personal. Joe made it clear he believed M's involvement had held Slaughterhouse back instead of lifting them up. Adding fuel to the fire, KXNG Crooked, another Slaughterhouse member, spoke out on IG Live, revealing Joe had long been bitter about how Eminem managed or failed to manage the group. That revelation gave fans a clearer look at just how messy the situation really was. Things only got worse when Joe trashed Eminem's Revival album, sparking speculation that M fired back at him with bars about reaction videos on his track Chloroseptic. Then, Bizarre from D12 jumped in, defending M and calling Joe out publicly. Joe didn't back down. In fact, he escalated it further by firing off a physical threat at Bizarre, pushing the feud into dangerous new territory. 50 Cent couldn't resist jumping into the chaos. He trolled Joe Budden on Instagram, posting a pic that hinted Joe had an ass-whooping coming. With 50 now in the mix, the feud between Eminem, Joe, and G-Unit's boss got even hotter, turning into a three-way firestorm. Then came Eminem's 2018 sit-down with Sway, and fans were glued to every word. The interview covered Revival, the surprise drop Kamikaze, and all the backlash. But things got extra spicy when M addressed his beef with Machine Gun Kelly and Joe Budden. M said, "Me and Joe Budden aren't, we're not friends like that. We didn't go to the same high school, you know what I'm saying? I get that part. But when I'm out here flying around to different places and doing interviews and trying to use my platform to pump up Slaughterhouse every chance I get, and you're using your platform to try to trash me?" That statement made it clear. Eminem felt betrayed, and the lines between business and loyalty had been completely crossed. Eminem explained the mindset behind Kamikaze, saying it was all about giving his unfiltered opinions on everyone. When the convo shifted to Slaughterhouse, he opened up about their unreleased Glasshouse project. According to M, they had enough tracks for a full album, but the problem was the group couldn't agree on which ones to use. He said it never felt complete because everyone had different favorites, so he expected them to regroup, record a few more joints, and tighten it up. But instead, silence. Nothing came back his way. By then, M was already diving headfirst into Revival. Eminem also acknowledged the backlash Slaughterhouse faced over their 2012 album, Welcome to Our House. Fans felt it was way too polished and strayed from the rawness that made them special. That's why M claimed he stepped back during recording. He only gave his opinions on certain tracks and left the rest in their hands, not wanting to force his vision onto the group. Eminem revealed his frustration, saying, "We gave them another album, and the next thing I know, I hear Joe talking about who got that money? Who got what money? I don't know if I made a dime off of Slaughterhouse. I don't care if I made nothing. I believed in them." That raw honesty showed just how deep the fallout cut. In hip-hop, sometimes you need a mentor. Sometimes you need a ride-or-die friend. And sometimes you need that one killer verse to silence every critic. Eminem and 50 Cent, they've got all three. And that's why their names will forever be etched in rap history. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, and click the card on your screen right now for more explosive hip-hop stories.